What's up? There's a few videos online that I get that gets excuse me, that gets more controversy than any all of the updates. I guess probably because they've been up so long. I wonder why the older videos, like 2 years old, get more views and probably a few more comments than my recent new uploads for 2019. The videos I did back in 2016, the ones that's basically dealing with white people are the cause of black people having a low IQ. I guess by me putting the title in there and naming the video, it helps people be able to easily find the video, and then I tag it. That might be what's going on. I don't know, because I'm more than sure they probably don't know nothing about these channels here that I actually created. You see what I'm saying? And um in those videos, I said a lot of good stuff. I said that if white people are really concerned, they never will be concerned about us. That's the update videos. I'm updating the reference. I'm referencing the videos that I did about low IQ. White people are the cause of black people being poor, all that kind of stuff. Because you know why I say that? Because they hold more of the resources in their communities. Um, let me show y'all something about. Did y'all know that it was prophesied in the Bible that our water would that the so-called white man would chlorine poison our water? Did y'all know this? I don't think a lot of our people know it. Let's look at Revelation chapter 8 and verse 11. Revelation chapter 8 and verse 11. It reads, and the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. This was prophesied in the Bible that all these things, the atrocities that is going on now, just like in Genesis, it was prophesied that a famine would take place amongst the children of Israel. And I think I can find an example in Genesis. I think that's what Genesis 42. Let's look at Genesis chapter 40. Might give us an example of what about coming to pass. Okay, the story in Genesis 40. It's about Joseph, a man by the name of Joseph. He was one of the 12 patriarchs, sons of Jacob. This was like Abraham's grandson. And he went to prison for 2 years. And this story was about his Joseph's father, Jacob, made Joseph a coat of many colors. And the coat of many colors stands for the robe of Christ, of God, what he was going to go through, stuff like that. And you know, it's a symbol of Christ, some kind of way. All right. Genesis chapter 40 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of King of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the butlers. and he put them in the inwood in the house of the captain of the guard unto the prison and the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them. And they continued in a season inward, and they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came unto them in the morning, and looking upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that was with him in the ward of his Lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretation belongs to God. Tell them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and the vine was 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossomness shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and passed them unto Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpret. Now this is Joseph. Now Joseph was in the prison, and Joseph was an interpreter of dreams. He had the gift that he was able to interpret dreams. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy hand and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup unto his hand after the former manner, when thou was his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me. Make mention unto me. Make mention unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen out of the land of the Hebrews. See, this is what happened to us as a people. We were stolen out of the land of the Hebrews. And the other nations have done this here. America, the so-called Babylon, America. Why do you think we have to have a passport? Let's go to since we doing this here, let's go to Exodus chapter 21 and 16. Joseph said that he was stolen out of the land of the Hebrews. Now, the reason why Joseph went to prison is because it was some kind of Edomite woman. They hated the Hebrew Israelites. And she lied on the Hebrew Israelites, which was Joseph, and said that Joseph tried to rape her. When Joseph was a righteous man, because the Bible says that Joseph was a righteous individual. Now look, all right, let's go there since I said that. Genesis 39 and verses 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and the Pontus and officer of Pharaoh's captain of the garden, and the Egyptian bound brought him of the hand of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down hither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And Joseph was a slave. He was a slave that they owned him as a slave. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had put unto his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me read that again because I want to make sure I'm giving it to y'all right. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not all, and he had saved the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Joseph was a goodly person and he was well favored. Joseph was a Hebrew Israelite. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Now, the Egyptian was an African now, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wrought not what is with me in the house, and he had commanded all that he had unto my hand. There is none greater in this house than I. Joseph said, there is none greater, because we have to understand that the Hebrew Israelite people are, we as the so-called blacks, Hispanic natives of America, we are better than any people on the planet. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither had he kept back anything from me, but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her. He hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. In other words, he hearkened only to the voice of anything that went contrary against the will of God in the Bible, and God, the Bible, the God of the Bible. Joseph did not sin against God. He did not do these things. And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went unto the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. That means he ran away from this woman because this was nothing but some trouble. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house. See, that's what these so-called Edomite women would do. Then she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, see, he had brought an Hebrew unto us. See that? Now, Hebrew. Now, we need to understand why the Hebrews are hated. Now, I want people to really get what I'm saying here, because a lot of people don't really do their research. They don't. Let me read this again so y'all won't see I'm making this stuff up. Genesis 39 and verse 14. Then she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he had brought in Hebrew unto us. Now, why did she say any man? She said a Hebrew. He had brought in unto he seeing he had brought in Hebrew unto us, and to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me. Now she lied. Now she was the one that initiated that she wanted Joseph to sleep with her, and Joseph refused the wicked invitation that she was offering. And and okay, and to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. This is what demonic evil women would do. And then they would notice a couple of verses up. As soon as a woman, have you noticed that as soon as a woman get upset or get mad, like in 2019, and you can just be debating with them over something, just all right, they'll turn around and get on their phone and call the Edomite, the so-called American white man to come out, or either they'll go get other men to come out and beat you up. That's evil. They'll do that. So this is made. Our women was brainwashed into doing this into their own men of color. And I want y'all to understand everything that's going on now in 2019, which I don't know whether it's the right year because they lie about everything. Notice that the stuff that's going on now, notice that all of these things are prophesied in the Bible that this stuff will happen today. The women's, they have a demonic hatred against their own black man. And the so-called white man has trained them, is to team up with them, is to put a black man under. And then she said, he came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she in other words, she took and she flipped the story and made it look like he was a some kind of rapist or something like that. Just like, think about Michael Jackson. Think about Michael Jackson. How when he was see, Michael Jackson lost his childhood and all that kind of stuff. And they took and flipped it and made it seem like this man was a pedophile, when white people are the main people that's inbred in their nature, such as bestiality and all that kind of stuff, is to sleep with dogs and to molest little small children. That's what they do, and that's their nature. This is what they have. This is what they have done. And let me tell you something. When they came over here, and the Europeans came over here and tricked the Indians. They tricked the Indians by coming over here and mixing their blood with the native Indians, and they did it on purpose. So the mixed Indians would turn around and be fighting the original Indians to try to destroy us in every way that they can. They did it on purpose because they wanted to divide us and to steal our culture. And she laid up his garment. See, the Hebrew Israelites has on the fringes and the borders of their garment, according to Numbers chapter 15 and 38. He said, let them make them fringes in the borders of their garment. Because see, they supposed to have fringes. So the Hebrew Israelite, this is what Joseph was a Hebrew. And see, this is what happened. The native, when the so-called white man came over here and killed off a lot of the native Indians, they took, and this is what they wore before the so-called white man came over here and conquered and killed off of millions of Indians and killed and conquered the native Indians. And that was their whole purpose. To divide us is to have us fighting against each other and to be arguing over scripts and manuscripts and this in the Bible and all of that. Their whole purpose was to mix their blood amongst us so that we can fight against each other. They did it on purpose, people. And she said, and she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, now look how she finna lie on this Hebrew Israelite. Don't that sound like white folks today? White women, white men, white men. Not only white women is doing them white boys that Michael Jackson had in his house. They was that was a conspiracy is to set Michael Jackson up. These white folks is demonic and evil, man. They don't care about no black, no man of color, and no woman of color neither. They evil. They demonic and they evil. Cobb County, all of them, some demonic, evil people. They demonic and evil. They don't care. They will do anything. They will shoot you down in the streets. And this is what I be trying to tell our people. Why is y'all sitting up here defending these people and saying, "Oh, y'all got to be careful what you say to the white man. You ain't got no back." Although they telling the truth and everything, you got to learn how to speak right and humble yourself and yes, ma'am, and all that stuff that they telling us is to speak. Guess what? It ain't getting you and I nowhere. It still got us as a black people on our people on drugs and walking down the streets, pouring our sisters out and all that kind of stuff. We still got baby mamas and baby daddies all over the place. The so-called black woman has got baby daddies from here to New York, and the so-called black man got baby mamas from here to New York, and from here to Slidell, and from here to New Mexico, and all got babies just scattered everywhere. Why? Because when the Europeans came over here, that was their whole intention in mixing their blood to get us fighting against each other with color, saying, "Oh, my baby got light skin, curly hair. Ooh, he got some beautiful." And we don't realize when we post all this stuff online, what we're doing, we're making a fool. We are playing in the so-called white man's hand, because that's when we sit on Facebook and be fighting like that and put the picture of these light-skinned kids up and be doing all of that stuff. Guess what they doing? They sitting back and they busting out, like they laughing at you down. That's what they doing, because you praising the light-skinned kids and the mixed kids and making it seem like being browner or being a little brown and not light, because I'm not a light-skinned person. You know what I mean? I'm not a light person at all. I'm a darker person, which means that we are not. That people say we're black. We're not black. We just a people of color, and we're being made fun of for that. So when you sit around here and you think that having a brown or having a darker color, being a man of color, you see what I'm saying? When you sit around here and you feel like being a man of color is not attractive and all of that, you playing into the role of what they infiltrated when they came over here and tried and wanted to kill off the native Indians and stuff like that, and mixed them. Mainly they did it through by mixing a little bit of their blood with the Indians, because they wanted the Indians and the other Indians is to be fighting against each other. Y'all don't even realize that. And she spake unto him, talking about the master of the line on Joseph, according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought in unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this man, neither did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. Now let me read that again. It came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, when she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. That means he was angry, because his wife, demonic, evil wife, hated the Hebrew Israelite man and lied on him. And this is what a lot of the so-called white folks and white women, they're very diabolical in everything that they do. White men is just as diabolical and white women is just as diabolical and liars like white men are. All of them is demonic liars. All right, it says, and it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this matter did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's masters took him And Joseph's master, to my Egyptian, took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. He was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showing him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keepers of the prison. This is what happened. So it says, let me go back up and let me read Genesis 39 and verses 16. And she laid his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, this Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought in unto us, came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's masters took him and put him into the prison, in a place where the king's prisoners were bound. He was there in the prison. And if you read on, it talks about how God showed him favor. Now let's go to Psalm. Now, they lied. This woman, this Egyptian, so-called African or whatever woman this was, she was not an Israelite. She said, this Hebrew that y'all brought in unto us came in unto me to mock us, or to mock me. And she said that when I cried with a loud voice, when she in essence was asking him to do this here. You see what I'm saying? So let's go to Psalms chapter 58 and verse 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna back it up and show you how white folks lie. That's why you will never see me, as long as I'm living on this planet, you will never see me going against my own people for no white man, especially him. No white man, no white woman, or nobody. No, I will never do that. You will never see me doing that against my people. And I've been doing YouTube since 2013. I started the early part of May. And May is coming up. It's going to be 6 years. So let's look at Psalms 50, 55, 6, 7, 50. Yes, Psalms chapter 58, verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Let's read that again. Psalms chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. See that? He said, as they go astray, they are estranged from the wombs. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. What just happened to that Hebrew in Genesis chapter 39 and verse 17 through 18? This woman took the master wife of the Egyptian when Joseph was in the prison, was in the master's house. She lied, and when the Joseph master's wife came home, she said that Joseph tried to sleep with her, but she was the one was initiating the consent is to do that. And when Joseph refused, then she went back and told her husband, you know what I'm saying, that Joseph tried to sleep with her, which she lied on. You see what I'm saying? So the Hebrew Israelites go through a lot. Let's go to Exodus chapter 21 and 16. Now remember, we got to have a passport leaving out of this so-called America, this so-called Babylon, America. You got to have a passport. Let's go and let's read Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. Exodus 21 and 16. Let's go there. See, the reason why a lot of us argue points like this here is because we don't do our proper research. We all over the place, and we just don't take the time to do our research. That's why we sitting up here saying all these things. Now let's look at let's look at Exodus chapter 21 verse 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve thee, and in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. See, this is when they had the Hebrew Israelites in slavery, and the Most High God said that if a Hebrew served his master for like 6 years, in the seventh year he was supposed to went out free. So this is this was a parable, supposed to be a parable, showing that only the Hebrew Israelites was in slavery. You ain't gonna see nowhere in this Bible from Genesis to Revelation where the Egyptians was in slavery, and you ain't gonna see where the Arabs was enslaved. They wasn't never enslaved. No people on this planet was enslaved more at all, but the Israelites. They were the only people that was enslaved. Now let's look at verses 16 of Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. See, this is what this is talking about. What race of people on this planet Earth that kills, that rape, rob, and murder, and that kidnap people? When you see their faces being flashed on the news, what race of people do you think of when you think of rape, robbing, murder, and kidnap? What race? The Caucasian race. Look what it said. And that's the reason why you have to have a passport, because we are enslaved. We are in spiritual modern day Egypt. That's what the jailhouses represent. That why do you think they don't want to stop the drugs from coming in here? This is to cut the Hebrew Israelites off and to destroy them. All over this Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, you ain't gonna see nothing but the Hebrew Israelites in this book. Those were the ones that was enslaved, inflicted by all of the other nations, because all the other nations are the enemies to the Hebrew Israelites. So y'all need to come together and study this Bible, man. Study y'all history, man, and ask God's Holy Spirit is to give you the understanding of who your enemies are. Your enemies is the so-called white man. I'm telling you that. Let me read this again. In Exodus chapter 21 and 16. He that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Not may be put to death, not he might, but it says surely. Surely means it will happen. That means it's going to happen one day. Psalm 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Let's go to Psalm 55. Psalm 55 and verse 21. Let's read that. The same people. Look what the Bible said. Now we go around and we say, oh, the white man is a good man. Oh, yeah, not all white people are like that. Oh, he's very nice, son. Don't do that. He's very sweet and very nice. Let's read this here. Before you make that statement, let's read this here. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. That's how they got this country. That's how they came in and started mixing their seed with the Hebrews and stuff like that, because they did it on purpose. I'm gonna show y'all a strip of that in Genesis chapter 36 as well. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. See, this is how they tricked the native Indians over here. They came in talking sweet and smooth. They were even spent $1,000 on you in the store. All of that ain't nothing but smooth. No matter what they do for you, the Most High said, never trust your enemy. I think that's Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and 10. He said, never trust thy enemy. Don't you never put that's why he said in Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. You cannot trust the so-called white man. Never trust your enemy. Never trust your enemy. Now, a lot of people will tell you, oh, I ain't worried about stuff like that. I don't let stuff like that bother me. The Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. He says he don't want us to forget the atrocities. He wants us to be reminded of all of these atrocities and these afflictions and rape, rob, and murders that happened to him. He wants us to remember how they stacked our ancestors up like sardines and transported them over here to America. And then when they got off them boats and stuff like that, where it was like months and months and months. Our people, ancestors was pooping on each other. It was urine everywhere, and it was just smelling and all kinds of stuff. And they was on them ships for months. You know what I'm saying? Shipping them all over. And they stacked us up on top. They stacked our ancestors up on top of each other on them slave ships and rolled them off and scattered all over Spain, all over Europe, all over Greece, all over all corners of the world. And all this stuff is in the King James 1611 Bible. I don't read all them other translations like that. I stick with the King James. If it ain't coming out the King James, I don't even read it. I don't read all that other stuff. I only stick with these words of this book here. So we need to wake up, man. Look what the Bible says in Psalms chapter 55 and verse 19. God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, because they have no charges. Therefore they fear not God. The Bible says they fear not God. Them other nations, they don't love God. How do I know that? Let me take y'all and let me show y'all in Leviticus chapter 19. I think it's in Leviticus 19. And when I read this, I want y'all to tell me what nation that fit these things in. It's about the beast, the beast and stuff, having sex with animals and stuff. This was a warning. Oh, I'm in Leviticus. I was supposed to have went. I was in Numbers. I want y'all to take time to understand what I'm talking about. Let's look at these laws. God was warning Israel, don't get caught up into all of these atrocities that America stands for. America means Babylon. That's what it means. And I'm going to show y'all some scriptures on this type of stuff. Let's look at Leviticus chapter 18 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. See, God is not speaking to all them other nations. He's only speaking to Israel. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. He didn't say speak unto the Methodist church. He didn't say speak unto Seventh-day Adventists. He didn't say speak to the Baptist, the Methodist Church, and the Catholic Church. He didn't say speak to the Catholic Church. He says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God. Your God means a possessive thing. I am the Lord your God. I mean, you are my possession. This is what God is saying. After the doing of the land of Egypt, where ye dwelt, ye shall not do after the doings of the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan, y'all know the African people. They was doing that incest stuff, sleeping with their own brothers and sleeping with their own sisters and stuff like that, and sleeping with their own daughters and stuff. All of that is in the Bible, and I can prove every bit of that. Whether I brought you, you shall not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. The Most High said, don't walk into the customs, don't practice the customs of these other nations, the Canaanites, and all of these other nations. He said, don't practice what the heathens do. Don't practice what these Edomites do. These are all of the nations that was doing these things, which was before us. Ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinance and to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. He didn't say he was the Lord of, he didn't say I am the Lord of everybody's God. He said I am the Lord your God. Who was he talking to? He was only talking to Israel. Nobody is, no minister of no other church is not going to convince me, or nobody who claims to know they know the God is going to tell me that God is not only speaking to everybody. No, he's not speaking to everybody. He's only speaking to the Israelites. Because if you read up here in the beginning of this verse of Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 1, God is giving a strictly command. He's telling Moses to give these commandments and laws to them, to let them know, do not practice what these outside heathen nations are doing, because these heathen nations, God don't love them. He only loved the Israelites. Now look what he said in verse 5 of Leviticus chapter 18, verse 5. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is of near kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Now, does this sound like stuff that America promotes, like homosexuality and pedophilia and stuff? The nakedness of thy father's wife, thou shalt not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. See, what Joseph was a Hebrew Israelite, right? So he's a Hebrew Israelite. So we are Hebrew Israelites. So Joseph refused what this Edomite woman was trying to get him to do. You see, that's not in the nature of the so-called black man. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father. Now, this sounds more like the white race bestiality, because white folks, Caesar Borgia raped his own sister and killed his own brother. That was Pope Alexander VI's son. And Pope Alexander VI's son is that Caucasian white boy that they got up in these churches. And that image, the reason why a lot of us argue with other people, say, well, it doesn't really matter. I don't care what color Jesus is. I don't care what color God is, as long as he died for my sin. You know why you're saying that? It's because you have that white man image in your mind. You have the white boy image in your mind that it's a white boy gonna come and bust the sky open and save you. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or daughter of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. For theirs is thy own nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father. She is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thy aunt. I'm gonna read to y'all who is doing this incest stuff. It's the Canaanites, the Ethiopians and people, all those other nations outside of the nation of Israel. These are the things that these other nations does. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. That means you uncovering your brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wickedness. This is talking about a woman should not take and sleep with her daughter's fiance, wife, because that's uncovering your daughter's nakedness. Same thing with the man. A man should not sleep with his daughter-in-law because that is his son's nakedness and stuff like that. What race of people do y'all know that do more incest up on the earth than anybody? That's the so-called Caucasian race. They came out to Caucasus Mountain, Russia, Georgia. And these are the things that they did. Neither shall thou take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, beside the other in her lifetime. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. That's talking about when the woman is on her cycle and all that kind of stuff. You're supposed to wait like 7 days before you even wanna lie with the woman. You know, I'm gonna say it like that. You're supposed to wait 7 days before you even decide you want to, for the sake of, you know what I mean, the other people that's watching, the children, all them is watching. You don't want to, like, it's unclean. In other words, she's supposed to be put apart for that, and you're supposed to wait until after the woman's cycle had run itself through, because she is considered, she would be unclean. You see what I'm saying? So you had to not touch this woman for probably for 2 weeks until her whole processing of that is fulfilled. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. That means don't go out and marry an Edomite white woman. That's what it's saying. Don't give your seed to these evil nations, but pick a seed within your own, from your own. You're supposed to go and pick somebody from your own father's seed. And this is what happening to us. This is the reason why we're going through a lot of the curses that we are, because we're not following all the commandments of the Most High. See, America would tell you it's okay. They will tell you that homosexuality, just like you can go, what nation of people passed the homosexuality law for people to be able to, for man and a man to sleep together? All of these things that I'm reading now, this is what the so-called America means, the way of destruction, the ways of sin. America will tell you, go ahead and do it, it feels good. But the Most High is saying, don't do it. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt, now here we go about the homosexuality. Verse 22 of Leviticus chapter 18. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. That means it's a wicked, filthy act. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Look up bestiality, and I tell you what I'm gonna do. As soon as I finish uploading this video, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to take and I'm going to put the link to this video in the description box. I'm gonna get the link, and I'm gonna personally put the link in the description box about bestiality, and I'm gonna put it inside the link, and you go and look into the description box, and you compare these scriptures in the book, in the Bible, the King James Bible, and you go and I want y'all to go and read this in. I'm gonna put all the information in the description box. Listen to this video, and you'll see whether if I'm making this up or not, and I'm gonna match it up with the words of the Bible. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things. For in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon the land, and the land itself, the land itself vomits out her habitation. Ye shall, verse 26 of Leviticus chapter 18. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgment, and shall not commit any of these abominations or wicked, filthy act. Neither any of your own nations, nor any stranger that sojourneth amongst you. For all these abominations have the man of the land done which was before you, and the land is defiled. Now, when it says neither the strangers that sojourn amongst you, this is talking about how the strangers mean the Israelite. The strangers are the Israelites who practice the Gentile customs, and they were strangers because they was joined to, and they started practicing it and doing what the customs of what the other nations was doing. This is the reason why they was called strangers, and this is the reason why the Israelites is called Gentiles. It's because when we strayed away from the Most High, we started practicing the customs of the other nations and stuff like that. So homosexuality and all that kind of stuff is right. All that stuff lines up under pedophilia, pedophilia, and all that kind of stuff. It's like all of that homosexuality is no different. All right. For all these abominations have the man of the land done, which was before you, and the land is defiled. For I'm gonna read that again, verse 27. For all these abominations have the man of the land done. The man of the land done. What man that was? The man of sin, who exalted himself above God. The man of sin. Let's go and let's look. The man of sin be revealed. Let's look at it. Oh, let's look right here. Okay, let's look at it right here. Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for in that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of sin, the son of perdition, is the so-called white man, the Catholic Church. Now look right here, and let's read right back here where I was reading at. Let's see here. I just read it. Ye should therefore keep my statutes and my judgment, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourn amongst you. For all these abominations have the man of the land done, which was before you, and the land is defiled. See, the man of sin is the one that promoted all this here. Now, let's look at, I'm going to skip, and I'm going to show you the customs of what the Egyptians was doing. Right here. These are commands from God that he gave to the Israelites. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all of the congregation of the children of Israel. That's what he said. Speak unto all of the congregation of the children of Israel. He didn't say speak to everybody. He didn't say speak to Israel, including all of the other nations and everybody and all over in different parts of the world. He just said speak unto all of the congregation of the children of Israel. Those are the only people that he loved, and those are the only people that he's dealing with. Let's look at Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 26. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe times. Okay, I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna break down that word enchantment. Nor observe time. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. These are the things that the Christianity churches practice. But the Most High say wear a beard. Why? Because it represents your manly dignity and power. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Now listen to this here. Now over here in America, this is what the so-called America, Babylon stands for, the so-called white man does. And that's the reason why they're telling you, come as you are in all these churches, because America does not care about God. I'm letting y'all know this now, because this is what they promote: homosexuality, prostitution. That's why they'll tell you, oh, come as you are. You're a prostitute, come as you are. And all these people come dressed any kind of way. This is what the lies of the Caesar Borgia is telling people. Ye shall not make any cutting. Okay, I read that. Verse 29 of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 29. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. See that? See, this is all what America promotes. Why do you think all of the other nations want to come to America? Why? Because the America is such a big influence. Why do you think the Bible calls? Let me show you what the Bible calls America. Let me show you what he calls it. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written. Mystery, mystery, Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great. It didn't say Babylon was holy. It didn't say Babylon was good. It says Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. The mother of harlots stands for the so-called white race and their children. Now, let's go back over here and let's go to Judges chapter, I think it's Judges chapter 7. I'm going to go there. And I'm going to read to you about all of the things that the other nations was doing that Israel was practicing. I'm going to read this stuff to you because, see, a lot of people don't take time and actually read their Bibles, and they don't care to actually look things up. Because I have a lot to say, people. Okay, let's look at these. Look right here. I might have it right here. Now, these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. The wars of Canaan. This is that y'all know that the nation of Canaan came out of Ham, and Ethiopian came out of Ham, and all of these is the African nation and Jephthah and all of those. All of those is the Hamite nation that came. You know what I'm saying? Only that the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war at the least, such as before No, no, it's nothing. There are named the five lords of the Philistines. That's an African tribe, and all the Canaanites. That's an African tribe, and the Zidonians and the Sidonites and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Bet Horon, Bet Baal Hormon, Baal Hormon, unto the entering in at Hamath, and they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded, which he commanded their father, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. Excuse me. And the children of Israel dwelt amongst the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served Balaam and the groves. And then it goes on in verse 8, it said, therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them unto the hand of Cushan Mesophaim, the king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Cushan Mesophaim, Cushan Resharam 8 years. So that's a big word. So because of the things that Israel was practicing, what the other nations was doing, God took and handed us over to the hands of our enemies because we did not want to follow his commandments, because Israel was fully rebellious against God. Israel was very rebellious against God. Why do you think when you're talking to people, they ignore what you say, or either they'll just keep walking? Like if I walk out on the streets and try and tell my people this here, a lot of them gonna pass by me and walk off. Some of them may even go and get on their phones and call the so-called white man, come out here and say, I'm disturbing the peace and all of that. And all of a sudden you had them a white uncle, them white security guard, or either you're gonna have them Uncle Toms and them coons and sellouts gonna come out there and say, we gonna asking you to leave the property because you are discriminating and all that kind of stuff. When you start speaking like this here, this is exactly what they're gonna do. And see, I understand. That's why the Most High says that these laws and statutes are not for everybody. But you would never see me getting on the bandwagon and selling my people to the so-called white man. Not me. But the main reason why God did these things, he sent our enemies against us, is because we rebelled and broke his commandments. So you see how it said, and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their God. These are the things, the filthy, wicked acts that the Canaanites were doing. That's why the Most High said, don't marry these other nations. And like I said, the woman that, I think I kind of got off the topic. I got way off the topic because I was talking about Joseph and everything. Because Joseph, like I said, he was a righteous man in Genesis 39. Go back and read that. And he was a upright man. And his master's wife lied on him and said that he tried to rape her. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just basically just trying to show you the atrocities and the things that Israel went through. So there's a whole lot more that I can give to y'all, but I'm gonna stop right here, and we're gonna see how this upload here came out. Peace and love to my people of color, and I'll see y'all in the next live. Peace.